Hi, welcome to Chronicles of Nani. I'm Nani. You may notice that I'm looking like I'm ready for bed, and I felt that way for a few days. I don't even have my signature only makeup I'm wearing is lipstick, because the lipstick's in my wallet, which is in my purse, which is not in reach. Which I just sort of don't care about. And the reason that I'm don't care about is part of today's discussion about knowing what your limits are. The first thing I will tell you is if you're looking at me and saying, lipstick? What lipstick are you talking about? Check out one of the other Chronicles of Nani, and you will see that I do wear lipstick while I'm talking to you, because it actually keeps my lips moist and it makes it easier to talk. And of course, the best way to go back and check out some other Chronicles of Nani is subscribe. If you subscribe, you can also very easily go back and hit the Chronicles of Nani button and pick out any of the other Chronicles of Nani and say, oh yeah, your lips are just a little moisture looking. I do wear a lipstick that's about the same color as my lips, so it's not super obvious. Today's Cyber Coffee Shop coffee is really tasty stuff. It's on Green Mountain's Maple Pecan, and you notice the coffee cup? It's the Mackinac Bridge, which connects the two parts of the state that I'm from, Michigan, and it's the point where Lake Huron and Lake Michigan meet. It's right at the bridge, and when you drive over the bridge, you are in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. For right now, today's topic is talking about knowing your limits. Part of knowing your limits and why that mug works so perfect for that is I've driven over that bridge a few times. The first time I drove over the bridge was with my mom. We were going on a trip or something that we were spending some time in the Upper Peninsula, and I drove over the bridge, and it's an experience because in the center of the bridge is sort of a grid where you can actually feel the air coming up from under the bridge, and then there is a paved lane on either side of the bridge as well. So when you're going over, you have a choice of going over the grid or going over the paved part. Well, of course, it's just the way that I am. It's my nature, the first time I went over the bridge, I went over the grid. And as I'm driving over with the flat bottom on a Camaro, as I'm driving over, you can actually feel the air. It's like, wow, on a windy day, this could almost lift my car. And they do have days where they close the bridge because it's too windy, or they say that you can only drive on the pavement part, that the middle lane is closed because there's just too much wind coming up. But it was really kind of cool to feel that wind coming up under the belly of my car. And it really goes with know your limits. I've always was a thrill seeker, but I had limits. But now back to today's conversation about knowing your limits. I've been told that I do something incredible and beyond what people would think my limits are because I put out a vlog every Friday. And to be honest, sometimes that is something that by the time the vlog is up and posted and ready to go, I am tired. My usual goal is to record on Saturday or Sunday and get my editing done, and I really want to have the editing done and ready to upload and post on Wednesday. There actually was one time that finally at 6 o'clock in the morning on Friday, it said uploaded and processed and ready to go. And I have all of my keywords and everything that's written on my blog ready to go that I can cut and paste. So I do the cut and paste and hit everything and hit the button that says set the premiere, and the vlog is ready to premiere at 8 o'clock that morning. When I had finished it at 6:30 when I finally hit that button. That's very stressful. That kind of exhausts me for the rest of the day, and perhaps on Saturday too. So it's knowing what your limits are, which is why I have the goal of being done by Wednesday, Thursday at the latest, because it gives me a pace that I can remain calm and within what my limits are, that it doesn't increase the fatigue that goes with my MS. This last week has been interesting. Today is August 3rd. My birthday was July 29th, and that was last Thursday. What my husband wanted to do to celebrate my birthday was we were going to go have lunch with my dad, and since we were in Michigan anyway, and not that far from Lansing, we would go to a Lansing Lugnuts baseball game, spend the night in Lansing, drive home. We had free tickets through our insurance company for the Toledo Mud Hens on the night of my birthday. So we were going to drive home, maybe stop and see one of my friends on the way home for coffee or something, and then go to the Mud Hens game. And then we would come home after the Mud Hens game, and then the next day going to see Kansas at the Rib-Off. So I looked at the 3 days straight. We were taking lunch with Pop, baseball game, spend the night in Lansing, drive home, another baseball game. The next day, Kansas tickets. And I'm just looking at that and saying, I can't do that. I know me. I know what MS has given and taken from me. And the one thing that it definitely, I couldn't see me driving out, because I know that when I go to see my dad, and if we're going to Pop's house, then I'm seeing Pop and Aunt Judy, who It was the first time I got to see my aunt since COVID. So that was, I got to see my dad, I got to see my aunt. I knew that was going to be a lot of sitting and talking and just enjoying each other's company. So that wasn't going to be a low energy type thing. I know this because a couple weeks before we'd gone to Indianapolis and I got to see my brother, and then we got to go to a baseball game with my nieces, and we spent the night in Indianapolis and came home the next day. And I know just from the time that I spent with my family, I spent more time talking to the girls than I did watching the game. That's to take my attention away from a baseball game. You've got to be pretty special, and they're pretty special. But I also know that after that day, I was so exhausted. We were looking at possibly doing another overnighter during David's vacation week, and going to Pittsburgh a few days later. And I said, no, I can't do it. I absolutely cannot do another overnighter that close because I'm just so tired. And that gave me a really good gauge on what I would be able to do. We're talking for my birthday, and I finally told David that I can't do the Lugnuts game. After we spend time with my dad and my aunt, I want to go home. I want to go home. I want to not sleep in a wheelchair, comfortable night's sleep, so that I have the energy to go to the Mud Hens game the next day. The one thing I'm really gonna give to David, he was wonderful in the pushing me just enough, because every single one of those 3 days started with him getting me dressed. We'd argue a little. I'd be in tears and I'd say, just forget it, we're not going. And he would just walk away and sit down. So David said, no, we've got you this far. We've got your pants on. We just have to get you rolled around and get them straight, and we're gonna do this. So I said, okay, we can try. And we got me dressed, and we were leaving a little later than originally planned to go to my dad's. But I called Pop and I said, okay, we are going to be able to make it over a little later than planned. Is that okay? And he said, yes, of course it's okay. So we went to my dad's house and we spent quite a while at my dad's house, talking with Pop, talking with Aunt Judy, just enjoying time with family that I don't usually get to spend, and that I certainly haven't since COVID. Now my dad has been over. He actually stayed a few nights when David had his vacation time in June. So I've seen Pop a few times and had lots of good time with Pop. I didn't take pictures. What was I thinking? But I didn't get pictures with Pop during that week that he was here for practically the whole week. So it was wonderful getting that family time. But in order to, even when I record the vlog, in order to keep myself up and smiling and normal me, it takes a lot of energy. And when we got home that night, I was tired. And so David got me undressed and out of the chair and in the recliner to relax, and I slept really well that night. And the next day, same sort of thing. I was getting frustrated and thinking, all right, for me to be frustrated enough to say I don't want to go to a baseball game, it happened. And David was pushing me on. He said, "You don't mean that. We're gonna get this done. It's your birthday. We're gonna do something to celebrate your birthday. So, you can decide what it is, but we're gonna get you dressed and in the chair." And we did, and I had calmed down, and we went to the Mud Hens game, and we had a great time. And then on Friday, after we did the Mud Hens game, again came home tired. And I didn't think we were going to Kansas because David had gone out earlier in the day, and I knew what time the tickets at the concert started, what time the outdoor festival started, and I figured we were going to be there sometime in between then. So he was out, and I figured, okay, we're not going. With David's encouragement, I did get dressed, and we went to the festival. Honestly, that was the scariest part of my 3-day birthday spread. It was an outdoor festival. That much is true. I wore my mask with the filter in it because the mask protects other people from anything contagious, any COVID contagions you may have. But the filter actually gives you some protection. And with an autoimmune disease and the rise in COVID cases and the Delta variant, since everybody has honor system, which I think is just crazy. I think you should have to prove you had the shot. And if you haven't had the shot, I'm sorry, you'll have to go someplace else. We went up on the lawn, and I did some six-wheeling, and we found some place that was sort of in the center, far enough back that you can't really see. You can kind of see one of the, you can see the lights that are going on. Frankly, we had a better view of the spotlight, the people running the spotlights. And you could kind of see the screen where they were showing what was going on stage as well. I enjoyed it. Without Steve Walsh, Kansas is a really good tribute band, my opinion. A couple songs before the end of the concert, we got off the lawn because as it's getting dark, I did not want to be in a crowd of people six-wheeling my way to try to find the ramp area that's not just jump off a curve. So we went down, found the wheelchair ramp, and stayed on the paved area, which I tried to stay a little more to the center because the end of the paved area was where what seemed to be the smoking section was. And a man walked up, and his unmasked face in my face. "Are you having a good time, darling?" I discovered two things. The first thing that made me angry was the "how dare you walk up to a woman you don't know and call her darling." Instantly followed by, "and how dare you walk up to a stranger not wearing a mask? I don't know you. Get out of my face." It's knowing what your limits are and just taking care of yourself and taking care of those limits. If you are dealing with a chronic illness, a chronic disease, if you are just in a wheelchair all the time, it's still things that you have to get used to, and you have limits. And know what those limits are. With me, it was 3-day limit, because I can tell you that I've been sleeping a lot since the 30th of July. It's the 3rd of August now, and I'm finally getting to the point of having some more energy. So it's taken some time to recover. Was it worth it? Oh yes, it was worth it. And I bless my husband for his pushing me and saying, no, we plan to do this, and you need to get out of the house. You need to enjoy yourself a little. You can't just stay locked up in the house. Because that was a fantastic thing that he did for me. Probably the greatest birthday gift that he gave me was that push to say, no, we're doing this. So that's the end of things today. As usual, make sure you subscribe. I know I talked about that earlier. Gonna reiterate that now, because that subscription number goes up, makes me happy. I have a goal of 55 subscribers by the end of the year, because I'm 55 now. And if you haven't subscribed and you subscribe now, I'll consider that a birthday present, and thank you. And those of you who already subscribe, you are my presents all the time, because I've always considered presents better than presents for my birthday anyway. And the Cyber Coffee Shop is open 24/7, so you can come and have coffee with me anytime. And it doesn't have to be for a half hour or less. You can binge watch. I suggest popcorn to go with your coffee. And until next week, when I premiere a new vlog, have a fantastic week, and hopefully you'll see me then.